Hey, Sequence family, I want to talk about one of the most common barriers to exercise, and that is having or feeling like we have low motivation to exercise. The first thing that I want to show you is that changes in motivation on a daily basis are completely normal. Motivation, especially in the beginning of a change effort, doesn't come across as one steady stream. Rather, some days we might feel very motivated, some days we might feel less motivated, and then we go back up and back down. So motivation frequently changes, the intensity of our motivation changes. The issue that a lot of people have is, let's say that I planned on doing strength training for 40 minutes and my motivation was low. A lot of times what people do is they just skip their workout. Rather, they forget that they should also consider turning down the task demand dial. That is making that routine easier, which might mean I only do 10 minutes instead of 40 minutes of strength training to match the level of motivation that I have. This is going to be really important because there is a way to get a steady stream of motivation, and that is through forming a routine and having exercise incorporated into your sense of self. But that only happens when we're consistent with it. It does not matter how intense we are with exercise. All that matters is that we're consistent with it in the beginning. So if motivation is low, recognize that this is perfectly natural and adjust the task demand dial accordingly. Okay, so if I feel low motivation, give myself permission to only do 10 minutes of strength training exercise, or whichever exercise you chose, that's fine. In order to get to that steady stream of motivation, what we want to do is we want to focus on a number of things. One is, how can we make exercise a part of who we are? How can we make it integrated into our sense of self? And the way to do that is to, one, focus on what you are getting out of exercise in terms of your own personal values. A lot of you are here because you value your health. So remind yourself, even if motivation is low, I'm going to contribute, or I'm going to do 10 minutes of exercise because I value my health, and this is my commitment to myself, which is another part, is making a firm commitment, even if it's to a minimum dose. So what you can say to yourself is, even if I'm feeling low motivation in the moment, I'm making a firm commitment to do at least 5 to 10 minutes of exercise. So one, connect your values to the behavior, make a firm commitment. The next thing is to focus on skill improvement. So it's great, exercise does provide a lot of health benefits, but there are some forms of exercise, specifically resistance training, where you can look at how you're improving in terms of your overall strength and then also your overall skill. If we can get to a point where you feel competent in your ability to do strength training, where you feel like you're becoming stronger, then it's more likely that exercise is going to be a part of who you are. So in the long run, focus on those things. Focus on, I'm committing, I'm connecting my values, and I'm focusing on skill improvement. In the short term, to build that routine, to get there, give yourself permission to turn down the task demand dial for exercise. I'm not feeling that motivated. That's okay. It's natural. What I'm going to actually do is just 5 to 10 minutes of exercise. I often think that once people get started, because I think the hardest part of exercising is actually getting started. Once people get started, you might end up finding that you're going to do more than 10 minutes. But again, giving yourself permission to do less if motivation is lower. And there's a couple little other tricks along the way to boost your motivation. One, we already talked about it, is reminding yourself why this is important to you, articulating how this will help you live up to your health values. Another thing that you can do is you can recruit social support, so have a friend to exercise with you. This is great because it only relies on one of you being motivated enough to exercise. So if you make a plan with a significant other or with a friend, just saying, hey, let's exercise at 4 o'clock. If you're feeling not as motivated, they're still going to go along with you, and that goes to the level of commitment. And then the last thing that you can think about is called temptation bundling. This is when we pair something that we want to do with something that we know that we should do. So for example, today I went on the stair stepper for 15 minutes and I just watched one of the Netflix shows that I was watching. So that is pairing something that I want to do. I want to watch this Netflix show with something that I know that I should be doing, which is some additional cardiovascular exercise. So think about some of those techniques in order to boost your motivation in the moment. And again, giving yourself permission to do less, reducing that task demand while focusing on those long-term things to get to a point where exercise feels like it's a part of who we are.